In the middle of the scorching sea of sand, the sun poured down fire, burning everything beneath it. A woman, her hands bound, stumbled through the heat. Dried blood clung to her wrists, and her breath came in broken gasps in the searing air. She collapsed, the sand swallowing her frail body, and just as despair took hold, the sound of horse hooves echoed through the silent desert. From afar, an old rider appeared, Ethan Cole, a man who had vanished after years of war and guilt. He stopped, his shadow falling over the dying woman. "Do not save me," she whispered weakly. "If he knows I am still alive, everyone will die." On her arm, the burned iron brand read Grayson, the mark of a tyrant who ruled the West through blood. The wind stilled, and the scent of rust rose from the sand. A storm of fate was about to begin. If you believe Ethan can stand against Grayson, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications right now, because in the next 2 minutes the first secret will blow your mind. Ethan pulled the reins before an old wooden cabin, standing alone in the dry, sun-scorched plains. The wind stirred up sand, sweeping away the dust of time that covered the rotting walls. The woman lay unconscious on the horse's back, her breath thin as smoke. Ethan drew his knife and cut through the thorny rope that had dug deep into her skin. When the last strand fell away, she flinched, eyes wide and lost in delirium. Ethan spoke softly. "It is over. No one will touch you again." No. Her name was Anna Reed, once a schoolteacher from the East, now just a fugitive. When she awoke, she trembled and asked, "Why did you help me? You do not even know who I am." Ethan replied in a low voice, "I do not need to know. I just saw someone who has suffered enough." Outside, the crimson sunset spread across the barren plains. The wind shifted, carrying the faint smell of smoke, a sign that someone was coming. Anna looked out the window and whispered, "If Grayson finds out I'm alive, he will come here." Ethan tightened his grip, his eyes turning cold. The real survival game was about to begin. Morning sunlight spilled gold across the prairie, a peaceful illusion after a night of sand and wind. Ethan watered the horse, while Anna sat on the porch wrapped in his old coat, her eyes distant. The silence between them spoke louder than words, two souls weighed down by the past. Suddenly, the sound of galloping hooves broke the calm. A woman rode toward them, her movements weak and uneven. Ethan rushed forward and caught her before she fell. Maggie Hart, the wife of his old friend Lucas Hart. Her face was pale, but her eyes still burned with determination. She handed Ethan a wooden box containing documents, money, and a letter signed by Lucas. Inside were proofs of Grayson's crimes and the part Lucas had once played in them. The air grew heavy. Ethan read each line slowly, his face darkening. "Grayson controls everything, the law and the lives of men," Maggie said, trembling. Anna stepped out, cautious, her eyes sharp. 3 people, 3 broken lives, now bound by one name. If Grayson truly is coming, then hell is riding with him. At noon, the sun poured down like molten fire. Ethan rode alone toward the old chapel Maggie had mentioned, a place that might hold clues about Grayson. The wind burned his face, carrying the smell of scorched grass and unease. Behind him, the small cabin faded into the distance, with Anna watching, silent, fear clouding her eyes. When the chapel's tower appeared amid the dry fields, Ethan stopped, hand resting on his gun. The air was dead still. A voice came from the shadows. "Did not expect you to still be alive, Captain Cole." From the darkness stepped Carver Grayson's enforcer, once Ethan's comrade. Their eyes met, silent as the calm before the storm. "Grayson sent you?" Ethan asked. "No," Carver smirked. I came to finish this myself. Gunfire cracked. Dust rose in a whirlwind. When the echoes faded, Carver lay in the sand, blood seeping beneath him. Ethan picked up a lighter, engraved with the initials L.H. Lucas Hart. The wind shifted. The past had returned. And Ethan knew the true battle had just begun. The night storm came down, like punishment from the heavens. Rain poured, wind howled across the plains, lightning tore open the sky. Ethan held tight to the reins, blood seeping through his shoulder, rain mixing with pain. Ahead, the faint glow of a farmhouse flickered in the storm. Inside, Anna and Maggie waited, their eyes fixed on the curtain of rain. The door burst open, Ethan stumbled in and froze. Lucas Hart stood there. The old friend now, just a broken man, holding a trembling gun. "Why, Lucas?" Ethan rasped. "Grayson owns everything. There is no way out," Lucas gasped. Ethan took a step forward. "There is always a choice, even if it kills you." A single shot echoed cold and lonely. Lucas collapsed, blood mixing with rain. Ethan caught him, his eyes filled with pain and understanding. "Being good never saved anyone," Lucas whispered. "But it saved you," Ethan replied, his voice breaking. Thunder rolled. Lightning flashed across the storm. Grayson was still alive, and now he knew Ethan had returned. The night crawled by, and dawn slowly washed away every trace of blood. Ethan sat silently on the porch, his face carved with the lines of loss. Inside the small house, Anna and Maggie slept, fragile peace after the storm. He rose, checked the reins, adjusted the saddle, every movement steady, deliberate, as if preparing to leave for good. On the table lay an old book, Great Expectations, beside the lighter engraved with L. H. Ethan brushed his fingers over the cover, his eyes thoughtful. When Anna awoke, he handed her the book. "Keep it," he said. "Teach again, even if it is just one child." "You are coming with us, right?" she asked. "Just for a while," Ethan answered. "I have things to finish." 3 horses left the stable. The rising sun painted gold across the prairie. Ethan stopped, watching the 2 women ride away, the wind lifting his wide-brimmed hat from his head. In the morning light, he understood. Kindness cannot erase the past, but it can save those who still believe in what is right. But can redemption ever truly wash away sin? The sun rose behind the grassy hills, spreading golden light over the land that had just survived the storm. Anna rode ahead, holding Great Expectations in her hands. Maggie followed beside her, her hair still damp in the morning breeze. They looked back the old house, the leaning stable, the doorway where Ethan once stood, all fading into the light. Ethan stood in the open field, his shadow melting into the sunrise. He did not call out, he did not wave. He simply nodded, a quiet promise kept. The wind carried the scent of wet grass, the sound of birds leaving their nests, and the warmth of peace. Ethan turned his horse toward the north where no one knew what waited. Because sometimes doing the right thing does not make the world better, but it is enough to save a soul that still believes. Ethan smiled and pulled down the brim of his hat. Golden light spilled across the path ahead as the sound of his horse's hooves blended with the wind, like the heartbeat of a man who had finally found redemption. If this story touched your heart, hit like, subscribe, and share, because the journey of Ethan Cole is far from over.